Hello students, today we'll begin with the first poem after the chapter 1, the fun they had. The fun they had we did in three parts, and I hope that now you have understood the story properly and you have also finished writing all the questions, and you also know the meanings, and you've also finished doing the book exercises given at the back. Now we come to the poem. Poem 1, we'll call it The Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. So, first, a bit about the poet Robert Frost. Robert Frost is one of the most famous, one of the greatest poets in American literature. And The Road Not Taken is a milestone work because he was although popular, but then his after the publication of this poem, his popularity touched new skies. And later on, this is one of the poems which have become the most famous poems, most loved poems. And so Robert Frost has become immortal because of this poem. Now, The Road Not Taken is symbolic in nature. This poem, in this poem, the poet talks about the choices that life offers us. We cannot take all the choices, and we have to take some and leave some. In the same manner, here in this symbolic poem, the poet comes across a point when he's going ahead on the road. He comes to a point where the road diverges into two, it forks, okay? And he stands there contemplating as to which road he should take, okay? And then he looks at the two, he looks at the pros and cons of choosing either of the two roads, and then he makes a choice the same way we make choices in life. So I'll read the introduction that is given in the book first. The introduction that is given is: this well-known poem is about making choices and the choices that shape us. Robert Frost is an American poet who writes simply but insightfully about common, ordinary experiences. So, out of this very common, ordinary experience, Robert Frost has touched upon a very deep meaning, a philosophy, okay, you can say, that he has talked about. And it's not just about making the choices, it's about being able to accept those choices, and also to accept the result of those choices. So I'll begin with the first stanza. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveller. Long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. So diverged means separated and took a different direction. By yellow wood he means a forest with leaves which are changing the color, See, the green leaves, when they change the color, it's usually during autumn. Okay, and undergrowth means, the floor of the forest, the dense growth of plants and bushes. Okay, now the poet tells us that, he has come across these two roads. Okay, and he is in this yellowing wood, a forest which is, so this is a hint to us that it's autumn. Okay, and he says that he's walking down a road, and there were two roads. Okay, and he had to choose one. See, being one person, he could only, take one path at a time. So he had to make a choice. So he looks at these two paths, these two roads, and as far as he could see, he speculates, he thinks, and then, see, this is the same thing that we do. Whenever we are faced with choices, we look at it and we see, as far as, human intelligence can let us see, as far as our farsightedness can, or our common sense can let us see, weigh the consequences. Okay, see how good or bad it can be, but then there is a limitation to that. Okay, so that is why he says, and looked down one as far as I could. And then that road, one road only he is describing right here, and then the road bent in the undergrowth, and he could not see the road anymore. Okay, so this is about one road. Then took the other just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear. So after looking at the first road, he looks at the other, and the other was, almost the same. So, but having perhaps, and then he says it had a better claim. Claim means it appeared more attractive to him. The reason was, he gives in the third line of the second stanza, because it was grassy and wanted wear. That means that road had not been tread upon. Like from here he can only see this much, that road had not been tread upon and wanted wear. That means that road wanted wearing. Wearing means, using, being used. Okay, so that was the road which wasn't tread upon, and since he wanted to do something different, he chose the path where many people had not passed. Okay, see, this is what he thinks, standing at the point where he is right now. Though, as for that, the passing there had warned them really about the same. But when he saw that, later on he saw that both of them had more or less been treaded upon, just about the same. Okay, so there wasn't too much of a difference between these two roads, but then he has to choose one, so he's just weighing one road against the other, that is all. And both that morning equally lay in leaves, no step had trodden black. Now both the roads have not been, the leaves, see, it's autumn, the leaves are falling, the leaves are yellowing and falling on the path, but he says the leaves had not been trodden black. See, when people keep passing over, walking over these fallen leaves, they turn black, and they look like they are rotten. But he says on both the roads, the leaves seemed that not many people had, gone through those roads or walked upon those roads. Oh, I kept the first for another day. So, see, he is still confused, but then he says, all right, fine, I'll leave the first one for some other day. See, sometimes you want to do this and you want to do that, and then you can do only one thing at a time. So you say, okay, fine, I will do this right now, but later on, I will, come back here sometime, and maybe I'll do this as well. Like, maybe I want to buy this and I want to buy that, both the things, and but then this is something which I need more urgently, so I'll buy this, and later on I'll, go ahead and, get the other thing. Just an example to show how we think sometimes, that when it is a tough choice, how we console ourselves or convince ourselves that doesn't matter, I'm not leaving this completely, but I'll come back to it again, right? This is what we think. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. Now, see, there is one more aspect of human life here. You do think that, yes, I'll do this someday, but then you get so entangled in life as you move on and on and on, and the things that you thought that, you would do someday, you finally think, realize that you do not have the inclination or the time or enough interest left to again come back to it and start doing it. Okay, so he says that, yet knowing how way leads on to way, how one way leads on to another way, and that leads on to another way, so then there is no way you can come back to it. See, in the same way, how life moves from one milestone to another milestone, you don't ever come back to the life you have already lived, the days that you have already spent. You don't ever come back to it. It is not possible. And so this is how it is with traveling also, with the roads also. Okay, now we come to the fourth stanza. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. So he says that I will be sharing this story someday with a sigh. With a sigh means, it could mean a sigh of relief. It could mean a sigh of something that you are regretting about. Okay. And somewhere ages and ages hence, because, once you start on a road and you take another road and another road after that, it's very rarely that um, you get time to reminisce or to retrospect or to think about what happened in the past. So he says sometime, somewhere, ages and ages hence. So he knows that, I'm not going to think about this point in my life very soon or in the near future. No, long time, will pass before I'll think of this day again. And then what is it that he will say when he relates this incident? He'll say, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. So the poet says that I will tell people or my family that, I took the one less traveled by. So he says that what was the ground, what was the basis for my choice. I just wanted to be on a road which wasn't traveled by, tread upon by a lot of people. I wanted to do something unique. I wanted to choose a unique path. And that choice has made all the difference. So whatever he is today, when he'll talk about it in future, whatever he will be at some point of time in future, that all that his personality, his achievements, he will owe all of that to that one choice. That choice which made all the difference, and that choice which has made him the person he is today. So, children, this is the explanation of the poem today. I just want you to enjoy the poem. All right. And of course, there are questions here. Here's the glossary. There are questions here at the back. Not many questions, but um, a few very important questions. I would like for you to first go through the questions, go to the text again, uh, and listen to this explanation and see how many questions you can answer. And then tomorrow, when we have a class, I'm going to discuss these question answers with you. And when I give you your next worksheet, okay, I will also give you a brief summary of this poem, okay, and also the main, some glossary or some comments on the poem. All right. So with this, we come to the end of this class. Thank you so much, children.